Nepal Haseeb, who's Media Coordinator for Islamic Relief Pakistan. Well, let me start with you, Haseeb. I mean, you're on the spot there. Is this earthquake as bad as the one a month ago?
Yeah, because we were not even expecting, after the earthquake, the aftershocks are very likely. But today in Kathmandu, in other suburban areas, and even in whole of Nepal, the situation is palpable. Panic is flooded back into Nepal, into Kathmandu city. What happened today? It was around 1 o'clock when people were fleeing from their homes. They were out in the streets, evacuating the offices. These were sort of terrifying sort of scenes of women and children were all around. So this is what we can say, that the sorry picture from on ground. And lot of buildings have been shaken again. And the fragile structures, the weak structures are also gone down. But we do have some other aspects because I've been in a couple of hospitals today. That the hospital were even unable to cope up with the situation because there were not the capacity to cope up with this sort of horrendous disaster. And now the situation is worse. And how it is worse? Because today's aftershocks actually created a lot of panic, and now the patients are basically moved out of the hospital buildings and they were now into the open skies. We have witnessed there are children there with wounds, the women, elderly, all in St. Roy is there. This is a picture which is showing some sort of anguish.
Well, the fact that there are a lot of relief workers in Nepal because of the earlier earthquake and the helicopters and various other relief equipment, doesn't that mean that it will be easier this time to rescue people than it was a month ago?
Even it was not a month ago, basically. We are just about 2 weeks around that this happened. Because last April 25th it happened. That a lot of aid workers are there, a lot of rescue workers are there, they're doing a lot of sort of things. But another thing is, which I have mentioned, that the earthquakes when happen, the aftershocks are very likely, but of this magnitude, we do not.
I mean, is government deal with this, or is it relying on foreign aid?
You're rightly asked, because I've already mentioned that the capacity to cope up with this sort of situation is not there. International community responded very well. The aid was just coming and reaching out. It was slowly, but now because initial days rains and these road blockades were creating a lot of pampering sort of things. But it was reaching out. As far as government response is concerned, I would again say that they do not have the required skill sets. So international community, aid agencies, humanitarian actors and rescue workers, they just chipped in and they just lended a helping hand to the local communities, to the local government. So they are working in a partnership, which is a good thing, and trying to cope up with that sort of situation.
And I suppose there aren't many tourists now at this time. I mean, the first earthquake hit a lot of tourists and foreigners who were climbing on Everest. This time, I suppose the victims are 100% Nepalese.
Yeah, in the initial reports, the same things have been reported, but the figures yet to be confirmed. But I'll again say, because it was quite encouraging that even the foreigners, even the people coming around from different backgrounds, they were actually helping. Even the local communities, they were taking their own initiatives. They were trying to harness the local resources. They were trying to build their makeshift sort of arrangements. A bit of, I would say, normalcy was back, but all in Sindrai is now too scary to go homes, and what we have seen today, because the recent aftershock affected as well. So this is another sort of because the people are right now into sort of shock, and they are now traumatized, especially children, girls, women, and the people who do not have the big heart actually to face these sort of effects. They're very much in a dire need of psychosocial support as well to bring them out of this particular sort of chaotic situations.
Well, let's hope that the fact that there aren't very many tourists or foreigners involved won't mean that there isn't the same media attention and foreign aid coming in as there was 2 or 3 weeks ago. But thank you very much for taking part. Before we go to the break, this latest tragedy in Nepal has got people tweeting their thoughts with a worldwide outpouring of sympathy. Atman2JU tweeted, "Another terrible tragedy for Nepal. More devastation as another earthquake hits. We are so helpless in front of nature."